There is nothing better than staying at a hotel with a dark and intriguing history. It adds to the ambience of the place and is great as a topic of conversation, especially when it involves the paranormal and murders. And boy, does this place have many stories to tell. You see, ghosts can be attached to the bricks and mortar of a building just as much as a plot of land. So if that building moves, so does the spirit. Today we dissect the Horton Grand Hotel in San Diego, a hotel that is made up of more than one historic building. Firstly, you had the classy Grand Horton Hotel that was built by a German immigrant to accommodate the vast number of people flowing into the area. Next, you had the Brooklyn Carly Saddlery Hotel, where Wyatt Earp himself resided for the majority of the 7 years he lived in San Diego. Over time, though, the hotels slowly started to fall into disrepair as the costs to keep up the grandeur of the buildings became more and more difficult. By 1970, they were both set for demolition, but a private party came forward with an offer to buy the parts of the buildings that were deemed salvageable. They put forward plans to reconstruct and combine the hotels at a different location, which the city jumped at, selling each hotel for just $1. The hotels were taken apart brick by brick. The 100-year-old grand staircase was even dismantled and sent to Austria to be restored to its former glory at a cost of $200,000. In 1986, the hotels were constructed and merged together. Now, Horton Grand Hotel offers 110 rooms with an additional 24 suites attached to the property by another hotel that has been on the site since 1886. This hotel's history is not so glamorous as the Horton Grand, as it was once used as a brothel and the infamous site of a 1912 clean-up raid of such properties by the police due to the public outcry. The funny thing here is that the mayor at the time and 3 San Diego city councilmen managed to mix up the dates for when the raid would take place and were arrested in the raid. Can you imagine explaining that one away? But like I said, with this much history attached to the properties, the paranormal encounters merged the hotels together with tales of cowboys, high-class society, and a madam of the brothel. So let's look at some of the hauntings, and where better to start than the most infamous ghost said to reside in room 309. Now there are 2 stories about this spirit whose name is said to be Roger Whittaker. The first is that he died in 1843 after the father of his would-be bride shot him dead as he wanted his daughter to marry someone better. From here, his body was dumped in a swamp near to where the hotel now stands. His soul roamed around aimlessly, heartbroken over losing the love of his life. When the hotel was built, many believe he decided to take comfort inside its walls, and he chose room 309 for his forever lodgings. Maybe it's true, but personally, the second story makes much more sense, especially when you consider some of the paranormal events that take place here with good old Roger. You see, the other story goes that he was a heavy drinker who had a serious gambling addiction. Now, just because he enjoyed a game of cards doesn't mean he was any good, and he was known for cheating. Well, one particular evening, while playing a game of cards in a gambling joint located in the Stingaree district, he was caught cheating. You can imagine how this went down. The other players were pissed. Threats against his life were screamed at Roger as he tried to make his escape. Sadly, it is said that one gunshot hit him, and while wounded, he staggered back to the safety of his hotel room. Little did he know, one of the men was following him and broke into Roger's room with murderous intent. The poor guy had hidden himself in the armoire in room 309, but the other man raised his gun and shot numerous times into the door, killing Roger. His ghost haunts room 309 as well as the hallway just outside it. He is not known to be a violent entity, but he certainly likes to make people aware of his presence. One guest said that she was wandering along the hallway trying to find the ice machine when she came across a man. She described him as looking as real as her, and after asking directions for the ice, he disappeared before her eyes. Other guests have been woken up in the night when staying in room 309, with their bed being shaken and the armoire's door swinging open. Lights will have a total mind of their own as they switch on and off, while in the bathroom, objects will move by themselves. Now, that all sounds pretty creepy to me, but Roger isn't done yet. the room will suddenly get very warm and no window being opened or cranking up of the AC will cure it. But the kicker for me, and what makes me think the second story is probably the true one, is that when the room is occupied or even vacant, the sound of someone playing cards can be heard. Would that send shivers down your spine? Because I'm pretty sure it would for me. Well, I did warn you that old Roger liked to make his presence known, and our next spirit said to haunt the Horton Grand Hotel is no different. As I said earlier, the hotel was rebuilt on the grounds of and next to an old brothel. Madame Ida Bailey has been seen by many over the years, making guests feel welcome. One guest staying on the 4th floor suddenly saw the light near the bed start to flicker on and off, even though there were no electrical issues. Knowing the history of the place, she nervously said, "Hello?" and immediately the flickering stopped. The guest said she felt like it was Ida's way of saying hello and letting her know she was there. There have also been many sightings of her spirit as a floating white mist, while others have experienced a cold chill rushing through their bodies. Those that have had either experience, though, said that they didn't feel afraid, but rather a sense of warm welcoming. It certainly appears that Madame Ida Bailey enjoys her new, classier living conditions, but Roger and Ida are not the only spirits said to be residing at the Horton Grand Hotel. One evening on the grand staircase, a group of spirits, dressed in formal 1880s attire, was witnessed gliding down the staircase together, conversing and laughing. Can you imagine witnessing this? So as you can see, this hotel has plenty to offer you. Not only fabulous accommodation and history, but also a high chance of witnessing something paranormal. Many guests have come to the hotel as a skeptic, but after experiencing some of the activity that is known to go on here, have certainly left as a believer. Until next time, dissectors, stay safe out there.